O- Okay, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone. Salutation, you Akim out there that push this word in truth and in sincerity. And I got a testimony what my cousin is going through. I really don't keep in contact with this dude, but he has my number, so he called me and asked me to put up some prayers for him. So I was like, what's going on? Why you need some prayers put up? You know, always. But what's going on? So he came to me and told me that he started dealing with this so-called, I'm not even gonna call her a Levite, some Haitian women. So I'm like, okay, so you dealing with her? He sent me a picture of her. She's thick, she's young, thick as hell. She's pretty too. So I'm like, all right, so why you sending me this picture? I don't need to see your woman. He was like, nah, that's a facade. So I was like, what you mean? He was like, no, because he had went to her house. She invited him to her house, and when he got there, she had cards laid out on the table, and she wanted to know if they was compatible. So she wanted to read his palms and go through tarot cards, which is witchcraft, which is consulting with familiar spirits, which is wicked, which is totally off, which is forbidden by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. But yet, he stood there, seeing what was going to come to pass. So I'm like, yo, why didn't you leave? Nah, man, I just wanted to make sure that everything was copacetic. Yo, she right, bro. So I'm like, yo, what you mean copacetic, bro? This bitch is a fucking witch, man. You need to flee immediately. But he didn't do that. So now, he got with this woman, Salakia for the rent. He got with this woman, and now he's head over heels for this bitch. What she do? Put period blood in the spaghetti and fed it to him? I don't know. But he's head over heels for this woman. And when I went over to his crib, he invited me over for dinner. I went over there, and right away, I felt bad vibes. So I made it for an excuse, and I broke out. I didn't want to be around that. She's a witch. So, Salaki for the rant, but I'm going to get into these scriptures, and I'm going to bring out scriptures that's meaningful about being a witch and being a part of something that you shouldn't be a part of. This is let me see what I'm gonna start at. It's Leviticus chapter 19, verse 26, and it reads. It's like I said, 19 verse I meant to say 31, Slakia. And it reads, regard not them that have familiar spirits, a demon on them. It says, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord, thy power. So the Lord commanded us not to do these things, man. Not to indulge in the witchcraft, seances, divination, being a part of some occult that you can. When you go into divination, it goes into necromancy. It goes into consulting with the dead. The Lord tell us not to indulge in them things, man. So this is back in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31. It says, regard not them that have familiar spirits. That bitch got a demon on her. And that demon is the ventriloquist. Or shall I say the demon is controlling her. He's the ventriloquist and she's the puppet. Because them demons is speaking through her. If I'm making sense. If I'm making sense. If you know about ventriloquism, you have the guy that's controlling the puppet. And he's speaking through the puppet. And you got to understand something. When you dealing with spirits, and you dealing with divination, you ain't nothing but a goddamn puppet for them demons. And them demons are speaking through you. Ventriloquism. Can you understand? Are you comprehending? It says, regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards. Wizards, a man that's divining and giving you certain things that's detrimental to your health because them demons are speaking through him, to be defiled by them. I am the Lord, your power. So we ought not to do the things that these nigger women are doing. Hey man, this dude told me, man, he caught her doing some fucking crazy shit to him, man. And when you go online, a lot of these women that was once Christians, they turned to being witches. And this is crazy, man. And this is crazy. But you gotta understand something. You gotta understand something, man. We are living in a time where we are bearing the faith and nobody cares about the laws of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah, man. Even though we under grace, but you still gotta consider that we under the law too, as well, man. Just because we under grace doesn't mean you gotta break the laws. And the Lord strictly tell you in Leviticus chapter 19 verse 31, regard not them that have familiar spirits. Dealing with women that have to use tarot cards, palm reading, all that shit is wickedness. All that shit is divination. All that shit is necromancy, man. Consulting spirits with the dead, of the dead, man. Salaki real quick. You gotta understand something, man. Consulting with familiar spirits is gonna cause you to get put to death. Because that's forbidden by the law of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah, and I'm reading it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna go to Leviticus chapter 19 verse 26, and it reads. It says, ye shall not. It says, no, matter of fact, I'm going off, Salakia. I'm reading the wrong scripture. Let me just bring this. Okay. This is Leviticus chapter, what is it? 18. Verse 26, if I'm not mistaken. This is yeah, I'm gonna read this. Ye should therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation. Let me read it again. It says, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 26. And it reads, no, actually 18, verse 26. And it reads, Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations. Consult with familiar spirits, being a witch, being a warlock, necromancy, which is consulting, which is contacting the dead, using Ouija boards, tarot cards. All that shit is wickedness, man. And you got a lot of women that's into that shit, man. And what they do, because my cousin told me that he was at his woman's crib and she was in the shower. He was going to make some hamburgers, and he seen his name in a jar in the freezer with some substance. And he was bugging like, what the fuck? He seen his name in a jar in the freezer with some substance in that shit, and his name was in that substance. So I was like, what? Yo, bro, what you need to do, you need to leave this bitch and flee from her immediately. Don't argue with her. Don't try to compromise with her. This bitch putting spells on you, bro. That's why you are the way you are. If I could tell you all kind of stories about this nigga and with this woman, she put hands on him. He do nothing about it. She have him after work washing dishes, sweeping and cleaning, her duties, her chores, her duties, but he's doing them. And I tell him, yo, she got you on the spell, bro. He laughing, you bugging. But now you know now, nigga. This shit is madness. So it reads back in Leviticus chapter 18 verse 26. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth with you. The strangers are the Israelite foreigners that come into Jerusalem to worship. Do not deal in anything concerning with familiar spirits, because that's going to lead you to your death, man. It says, for all these abominations have the men of the land done which were before you, and the land is defiled. If you go into these different philosophies, started dipping and dabbing into witchcraft, Satanism, sacrificing your children, it's going to lead us to what happened to us, and that's why we in the state we into this very day, man. Because our forefathers, which we are our forefathers, sinned against the Most High. And you got these women in modern times committing all kind of wickedness, man. Dipping and dabbing into witchcraft. Dipping and dabbing into the things that they like to do to try to bewitch men. Once again, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I, the Lord, am my power. So you got to understand that, man. But Jake don't understand that. Many of these nigga women, you rarely see a Jake, a man, dipping and dabbing into witchcraft, man. Seances. Tarot card reading. You see these women doing that, trying to cast spells on men. Man, you got this Platonica in my neighborhood. I pass by that shit. You got nothing but so-called, I'm not going to call them Ephraimites. I'm going to call them Hispanics and nigger women coming out of that shit, man. And that shit is madness. But guess what? There be no enchantments against the sons of Israel. If the Most High is dealing with you, that shit that these women is trying to put on you, these spells, is not going to work. There are no enchantments against the sons of Israel. Roughly paraphrasing that scripture. If you truly worshiping Yahweh, while Yahweh Shah doing the work, none of that shit going to happen to you, man. They could try all they want. You dig a hole, that shit going to come back on you sevenfold. So I ain't worried about no women putting no spell on me. These women are out of order. Dude told me that shit. I'm like, yo, bro, you bugging, man. I will leave that bitch immediately. This is Leviticus chapter 20, verse 6. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and have wizards, and after wizards, to go a whoring after them, I would even set my face against him. The Lord's going to judge you. Let's read it again, slow and plain, so you can accept this and comprehend it. You slow of mind. This is Leviticus 20, verse 6. And the soul, an Israelite man or Israelite woman, that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, those that are witches, dipping on the left-hand side, not knowing that they're still worshiping Yahweh while Yahweh Shah, but they worshiping the Yahweh while Yahweh Shah on the left-hand side. You got them spirits on you. It says, let's read it again. Leviticus 20, verse 6. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and have wizards, and after wizards, to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. You're going to be put to death. Because it tell you in the scriptures, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. When you go back to the book of Kings, or even the book of Samuel, when Saul consulted with the witch of Endor, what did Samuel told him? After this day, you're going to be with me, you and your son. You're going to get put to death. That's a wicked act, man. Consult with necromancy, tarot card reading, fucking with a Ouija board. You gotta be out of your goddamn mind to open a portal so these different demons can fuck with you. You gotta be out of your goddamn mind, man. And these women, that's why these women are filled with demons. That's why you can't, when you see a woman, she's brawling, and I seen a woman trying to fight a man, and she was going head to head with this dude. They was brawling. She had demons on her. The dude eventually prevailed and knocked the bitch to the floor, but she jumped back up and was willing to fight again. I said, this bitch got demons on her, man. The dude knocked her down like 2 or 3 times. But guess what? She jumped up again and was willing to fight. Because she was fueled by demons. Them demons was on her, and she was this relentless in her attack on trying to beat the shit out of this Jake, man. But he got away with her. But he got away from her. But I'm slacking for ranting, but I'm just saying, man, when these women deal with these tarot cards, seances, going to these botanicas, they got demons on them. Multiple demons. And these demons are controlling them. But it tell you in the scriptures not to consult with these demons. But try telling these stupid ass bird brain Negro women and bird brain Negro Hispanic women not to do that. They do it all the time. Love potions. Trying to do somebody hurt. It's crazy, man. This is Leviticus chapter 20, verse 27. And it reads, a man also or woman that have a familiar spirit or that is a wizard shall surely be put to death. And that's the judgment for a fucking wicked ass necromancer, tarot card reader, a witch, a warlock. Your judgment is death. Let's read it again. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 27. And it reads, a man also or a woman, a warlock is a man, a witch is a woman. A man also or a woman that have a familiar spirit or that is a wizard shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon them. Your blood will be upon your own head, man. You got to understand something, man. That shit opens up portals. Ouija boards, tarot cards. That should open up portals. And it brings multiple demons on you. And them demons are much more powerful than you, so you cannot control them demons. So therefore, they overtake you. And you got a lot of women, they would try to bewitch men, love potions by putting period blood in their food. That's why I cook my own food, man. I don't eat from women. Shalaki, if I'm ranting, but this is kind of crazy that I heard, man. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do a video on it to edify brothers out there that don't know that this could basically be them in this place, man. Them having to deal with women that's into this wickedness, man. That's why a lot of nigger women and Hispanic women and Dominican women, they're into to that witchcraft shit, man. Hey, man, I would go to a brothel. Bitch can't put no spell on me there. I'm just going to pop, rearrange her guts, and that's that. I'm going to pop her, rearrange her guts, and give her money. I got my just due, she got her just due, and that's it, man. Because dealing with these modern day women, they into witchcraft and all kind of madness, man. And all kind of madness. Let me bring out one more scripture before I close it out. This is Exodus chapter 22, verse 18. It says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. You see? Everything I was saying, it goes back to the scriptures. You got these bitches out here, these nigga women out here, these spick bitches out here, these Dominican women out here, consulting with familiar spirits, putting spells on men, doing that which is evil in the eyes of the Most High. They're going to pay for that shit, man. You're not going to get away. You're going to pay for that shit you're doing. Exodus 22 verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. If you dealing with necromancy, which is consulting with the dead, Tarot card reading, seances, eventually the Lord's going to visit you and put you to death. Take that, put it in your pipe and smoke it, bitch. And you got niggas doing that shit too. And you're all going to pay. Deuteronomy, the last scripture that I have, Deuteronomy chapter 18. Deuteronomy 18 verse 10. It says, there shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire. And that was happening during the time of the king of the king what's his name again? It's like it's skipping my name. It's skipping my mind right now. The king of Hezekiah's son. The king, damn. How can I forget his name? The king of matter of fact, let me just get it real quick so I can, because I got a brain freeze. I don't know why I got a brain freeze, but I got a brain freeze. I got a brain freeze. Slakia Ake. I got a brain freeze. I don't know why I got that brain freeze, but it just hit me while I could remember the king's name that was sacrificing his kids to Moloch. And the Lord had the king grab him up and put him in prison. But the Lord had mercy on him. How can I forget this man's name? Manasseh. King Manasseh, man, Slakia. You know, I had a brain freeze. Slakia. I had a brain freeze. King Manasseh, you know. I had a brain freeze, and sometimes that happens. King Manasseh, you know. But anyway, he was sacrificing his kids to Moloch, which is wicked. And that goes back to the ancient world. So you got these women doing the same thing that was happening. Them same women that's practicing witchcraft, seances. Those are the same women that was back in the ancient world doing the same thing that they was doing in the ancient world they're doing now. So it says, there shall not be found, Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 10, there shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire. Now in the ancient day, Moloch is abortions, and these women are heavy into abortions. For it says, or that useth divination, consulting with familiar spirits, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or consulter with familiar spirits. or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord Yahweh, and because of these abominations, the Lord thy power doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy power. Don't deal with that witchcraft. Don't deal with necromancy. Don't deal with anything that's regarding familiar spirits, tarot card reading, Ouija boards. You got these bitches, these young bitches out here playing with Ouija boards. Shit is crazy. Hey man, you know what? I'm not gonna rant no more. It's like if I was ranting, I brought out some few scriptures, but things that I know that I'm not gonna bring out because I don't want to reveal some things that was talked about between me and this individual. He's heavily into, not heavily like the scriptures, like he's heavily into this shit. He's knee deep. And he needs to separate himself from this woman, but he can't because he's caught up. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it like that. A cautionary tale, these women are into witchcraft and Satanism, necromancy, and tarot card reading. Be aware, Akim. Shalom. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Wakah Kwadash. Shalom.